If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, follow, rate, and review the show. It helps us grow and keep these voices alive. Now, stay tuned because we've got two big things coming your way. An exciting new series lifting up the voices of AmeriCorps seniors, and in early 2026, we'll be officially releasing the Get Things Done framework, built from the wisdom and stories shared right here on this podcast. All right, we're back with a special AmeriCorps Connections podcast. I am so excited to be highlighting AmeriCorps Seniors Voices. For the next couple episodes or several episodes, we're going to be highlighting AmeriCorps seniors who are serving post-career instead of pre-career or shifting career. And I'm really excited to introduce our first guest for the Senior Corps series, Gina. I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name. Ottrando? All right, Ottrando. Before we get started, I just wanted to orient everybody about what AmeriCorps Seniors is. So AmeriCorps Seniors is part of the larger AmeriCorps agency, and it engages folks that are ages 55 and older in volunteer services that strengthen communities and foster connections across generations. The program helps, it says older adults, but I'm not going to say that. It helps seasoned adults stay active, engaged, and full while using their lifetime of skills and experience to meet critical community needs. So let me just give you a few numbers real quick, and then we'll roll into the interview. So more than 170,000 AmeriCorps senior volunteers serve each year across the United States. Collectively, they contribute over 40 million hours in service annually to our country. They serve in every state in the United States, including the territories, and they are in thousands of local sponsor organizations that are like nonprofits and schools, government agencies. 3 of the core programs in Senior Corps is foster grandparents program. So volunteers mentor and tutor children in schools, and they help children improve literacy, academic performance, and emotional development. We also have Senior Corps' companion program, and these volunteers provide friendship and assistance to others, seasoned adults who need help with daily tasks, enabling them to live independently longer. And then finally, we have RSVP, so Retired and Senior Volunteers Program. That's the largest of the 3 programs, and RSVP matches volunteers with a wide range of services and opportunities, from disaster preparedness to food distribution and job training and veteran support. So that's a little bit about AmeriCorps seniors and some of the folks that we will be talking to during this series. So I want to go ahead and introduce Gina, because you are our very first Senior Corps member. So Gina, we're going to start with just who you are and why are you serving in Senior Corps or AmeriCorps seniors? Sorry.
So first I'll say I'm really 45. I don't know what you're getting the 55 from. No, I'm only kidding. So see, now we can't lie about our age.
I know, sorry.
Ottrando. I live on Staten Island, New York, and I joined AmeriCorps Seniors, and I volunteer with different groups. So it allows you access to different organizations. So 2 of the organizations that I volunteer with since 2019 is Meals on Wheels, which is very familiar, and a local food pantry soup kitchen on Staten Island. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I joined SCORE, which is, we provide mentoring and education to small business communities. So I wanted to continue to use my business skills, keep my brain thinking and working and learning. And it was a great opportunity to help people, but also help myself. So I do all those 3 things each week, and it's very rewarding. And I recommend it to people. You meet great people, you help people, and you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah. I am so excited to get into the nitty-gritty of what exactly serving as an AmeriCorps senior looks like and what you do day to day. Tell us a little bit about you had a career before you started doing AmeriCorps Senior. So tell us a little bit about that career in a nutshell, and then when was that moment when you, and I think previously before hitting record in another conversation you had mentioned, it was around the pandemic time and you were like,
Sure.
I'm gracefully moving on, and then you found this program. But tell us a little bit about what you did during your career and then what excited you about the AmeriCorps Seniors program.
Sure. So I spent 37 years in a Fortune 100 company working starting out in 1981 as an entry level, working my way up. I was dealing directly with the CEO and the executive leadership team. So a lot of hard work, 37 years. And the company went through some drastic changes. We had the financial crisis in 2008. I was in the thick of it from an administrative, operational perspective, in breaking down our company. It was very sad. And we had 9/11 because we worked downtown. My husband was a fireman there that day, dealing with that. But I was also responsible for getting the company up and running, relocating people, and the same for Sandy. I spent my career in really helping the internal employee in a way. Our mantra would be if we served them well, they would serve the customer well. I went through all those crises and we were going through another management change and restructure. And this was around 2018. And I accepted an early retirement, 37 years. And that was at the end of 2018. I had just become a grandmother. And I was reveling in the fact of being home. What I tell young women today is 30, 34 years ago, 33 years ago, when I had children, I went back to work after 6 weeks of having my first son and 8 weeks after having my second son. They give that to the men now. You know what I mean? So, I was really going to enjoy that year off, spent a lot of time with family, doing art projects at home, all those things. And just so you know, that junk drawer has nothing to do with how much time you have. Okay. Right? Nothing to do with how much time you have. So I was volunteering quickly, Meals on Wheels and Project Hospitality, because when I was working, one of my responsibilities on the internal services was the employee cafeteria and the executive dining room. And every day we would throw away cooked food and it drove me crazy. So we ended up partnering with Rescuing Cuisine. And when I left, we had provided 14,000 meals with food that we would otherwise have thrown away. So so I guess when I wanted to continue to volunteer and help in that way, just feeding people is just so fundamental, basic, and really easy to achieve. There's a lot of places if you want to help people eat or have food, or there's Meals on Wheels, and there's so many local pantries and places.
I want to just interject there, just from a human standpoint. There's so much ritual in eating and food exchange. There's so much compassion and humility in that. And it's like it really is one of those things where providing nourishment for us to connect as humans and provide an environment. And I just think food is really a gateway. It's a gateway drug to humanity because it's something that we all share.
Yeah, and when you volunteer, it's humbling. It makes you you have gratitude for what you have when you see those that don't. So it's easy, right? And I agree with you on we do use food as a family gathering thing, as a way to, which is why I like the pantry, right? So the pantry, so we do both the food pantry and the soup kitchen, two separate things. You get different people, right? If you're in the food pantry, you're going to have a kitchen to cook. And
Right.
cooking what you want to eat is preferable. Let's face it. The soup kitchen, that's where you get really the needy, perhaps the homeless, people that can't make their own meal, they don't even go to the pantry, right? So when you see those in need at that level, you just want to do more of it.
Yeah. I remember being in an organization in Baltimore, and I came to the organization and we were going to be serving food, serving lunch. And I came to the volunteer opportunity with a certain type of perspective. I had been around volunteerism for years, and I was this director of this program, and we were going to show up and we were going to do this thing. And I really came in, I will say, with a white savior sort of perspective. And I remember being one of the first people to serve. And when I was looking at the folks that were going through the line, they were all kinds, like some of the people that you described just now, but there were also students with backpacks that had just gotten off the bus and they're just like, well, I'm going to go ahead and grab something to eat because I don't know if I'm going to have anything to eat at home. Or maybe they do have something to eat at home, but maybe they don't have enough. But there were folks that were there were gentlemen that were doing work on the street, construction work. And they came in and of course, like we fed anybody. And it was really changed my perspective of who is a paycheck and a half away from not being able to afford their lunch,
Yeah.
basically.
And I think we talked about this before we got on the call about we're fortunate to live in a country that can afford it, right? I think I read once, and this is when I did the rescuing cuisine, that as a country, we throw away about 40% of our food. Think of what you do in your own day to day, but think of restaurants and so we can afford, we can redirect, we can be efficient, right? And make sure food gets to the right places.
Yeah.
And talking a little bit about SCORE, I think that for me personally, it allows me to use more of my career skills, the professional skills. But what's most important is it's forcing me to learn. I have to, they
Really?
pop in with new ideas and I'm playing around with Chat GPT all the time. I'm not sure. And you know, getting other people excited about, don't be scared of it. Just try it out. It's free. And I only wish I had it when I worked. Oh my God. It would,
I do communications in my 9 to 5, and I'm always like, well, hold on. And even like the show notes and the summary, like I use it, like this podcast is up leveling because of AI. I agree. I know that we all need to use our restraints and do all the things and all that stuff. But even just now, right before we got on the podcast, I was like, oh, give me some facts about Senior Corps. I was like, oh, I should probably say something to that. And it was quicker than me going to the Senior Corps page, which I don't even know if it's up anymore, and trying to download some data. So love that. Love, love, love.
The other important thing is when you do things regularly, you create great relationships with people that volunteer with you, and it renews your faith in humanity. You know that there are people, and many of the people I will find that volunteer don't have much more than those they're serving. So I it's definitely I find the needy helping the needy. And we have a lot of laughs and we have a good time. And it, like I said, it renews your faith in humanity, like at SCORE. I in the last couple of months, I mentored 3 people. 2 were starting a nonprofit. One was for abused women, and because she was abused herself. The other was for previously incarcerated because he was incarcerated himself. So they want to give back to the community. So I know I'm helping one person and they're going to go and help many, right? So it
Yeah.
does it does pay it forward.
Yeah. So can you speak a little bit to, so folks can go out and find volunteer opportunities, right? There's a volunteer board probably in your community, your county, your state, wherever. But being part of AmeriCorps Seniors is different than not just, is different than going out and becoming a volunteer for Meals on Wheels. Somebody can just go to Meals on Wheels, sign up, you're a volunteer, boom. But AmeriCorps Seniors is different. You're making a commitment to this program. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience of, like, how did you find out about AmeriCorps Seniors and how did you onboard and do you like all that good stuff?
So SCORE, Staten Island, was a very close-knit group, and they worked very, very closely at the time with RSVP. So there was that connection there. Most of the members of SCORE were also a member of RSVP. I gladly joined. And here's the thing about AmeriCorps Seniors, right? For instance, they will run 4 volunteer events where we are on Staten Island, and there's an array of nonprofits that come. And it just, I learned so much. I've made so many connections as a nonprofit myself with other nonprofits, but I also brought stuff to the dog shelter and I brought cookies to the giving. Like I made connections and did other types of giving by making those connections. So I think that it gives you an array of opportunity to learn what's available out there. I think a lot of people don't know where to start. There are things like volunteer match or whatever. To me, if there's something, let's say you like dogs or animals or something like that, look in your community for something like that. You want to help children, right? One of the things was going to a school and helping a child read. It's endless. And AmeriCorps Seniors helps to connect you with those nonprofits you might not have otherwise known existed.
Yeah, it sounds like to me what it builds it sounds like you can go to the volunteer match and find an opportunity. Love volunteer match because they just merged with Idealist and I'm an Idealist fan. Go Ami. Idealist days 2233445566778889910110 and 1212 are all Idealist days. Pull your community together and do something. That was a free ad, by the way, Idealist. Anyway, yes, folks can go on and find volunteer opportunities, but it sounds like if you go, if somebody's interested in serving, going to AmeriCorps Seniors would provide them an opportunity to be part of a larger community. So there's the community of the nonprofit that you serve in, but AmeriCorps Seniors actually brings together the community of Staten Island nonprofits that also have RSVP members that are also doing other things that you wouldn't know about if you were just serving at this one nonprofit. So to me, it sounds like networking in the fourth quarter of our game, where it's like, all right, well, I did all the networking in my first 3 quarters of my lifetime, and now I'm in the bottom. I don't know baseball. The bottom 9. I don't know.
Yeah, I think football. You were in the fourth quarter, so
The fourth quarter, right? And football's easier to me,
right.
and so it provides this opportunity to connect with other senior corps members, which is exciting because one of the things as I'm tipping over that hill of, oh, what does that look like the other half of my life? When you surround yourself with people that you that are inspiring and engaging and energetic and doing stuff, you become energetic and exciting and do stuff. It's very easy to settle in and say, I'm going to just do this because I am here in my life. Speak to a little bit of that about maybe some folks that have, I don't know, changed your perspective on what's possible and any of the things that you mentioned that you're connecting with other nonprofits. And if you want to talk about the nonprofit, you're in SCORE, right?
Right. So I do Meals on Wheels. I do Project Hospitality, right?
You do so much, I can't even keep a track. Keep track.
You know, I am a Points of Light recipient. And yes, and that was through the nomination came through AmeriCorps Senior, right?
What number are you? We're
I'm like
this.
9,978 or something like that.
Okay, I'll find
will
out
get
and
you-
I'll put it in the notes.
I will get you the exact. I will get.
You're the second.
I will get you the exact. I will get.
You're the second Points of Light person that I've interviewed. Gordon, I keep forgetting your last name. I'm so sorry. Gordon is another Points of Light. And just a little ad here too for Points of Light. They're going to be in DC this year. So Gina, maybe we need to get you down here.
Yeah. So, and that, so they also do recognition, right? And they do have award ceremonies and to really recognize contribution, and sometimes it can be thankless, right? You're not getting paid. So don't forget, we worked hard through our life to get for money, for finance reasons.
Yeah.
Um, this is different. I see how my children and grandchildren act about helping the poor or volunteering. I will take my grandson occasionally with me since he was 5 on Meals on Wheels if he's home on a Monday, and the old people love it. But it also demonstrates that, you wanna give back to your community.
That intergenerational piece too is something that I think that we are missing. I started the volunteer industry when my kids were in elementary school, and so they were voluntold a lot of times. You are
I like that.
voluntold to do this.
I like that.
So if folks were thinking about joining AmeriCorps Seniors, obviously it's for a certain demographic. Or so I like to say lightly seasoned and seasoned. So it's focused on seasoned volunteers. We'll throw an age out there, which is just a biological age of 55 and older. Um, and so folks were thinking about, I should probably get off my butt and do something, or I did retirement and I'm really great at golf and maybe I should do something. What do you think the benefit is for them?
You know what? For me, it's structure, right? So I
Oh, yeah.
like Monday, I do Meals on Wheels. Tuesday, I do Project Hospitality. Friday, I go to breakfast with my husband. There's certain things that you do. And so otherwise, you can lose, when you are retired, you can lose track of what day of the week it is. So it does help to have some structure, purpose, uh,
Mm,
being needed. And again, on the score side is really using the noodle and bestowing positive feedback to people, just being positive as a coach. So as a mentor, you are in a way a coach. A lot of small businesses, you're alone at the top, no one to tell you. Whenever most people have a boss, they tell you what to do, when to
yeah.
do it, how to do it. When you're your own boss, it's hard to do that. So score is for a certain kind of people that want to, you maybe owned a business, worked in a small business, have corporate experience. Um, but we have other roles too. There's administrative roles, there's social media and marketing, and uh, we can always do better doing that interconnectivity. Like we should be doing more with the New York Public Library, and we should be doing we need more people to help us build more connections. There isn't the nonprofit world and the volunteering world. You will meet some great people. You will make some friends. And again, it makes you sometimes lately you feel like there's a lot of negativity and things like that. It really is uplifting that there are people willing to give of themselves for others.
Yeah. What is the one takeaway as we land this plane? So you had a fulfilling career. It sounds like all the ups and downs, right? Wow. When you were naming off, oh, and then there was the what is it called? The bust of the bank bust or whatever. And then there was Katrina, 9/11 or 9/11, and then Katrina and the pandemic. Food, just all these really small things that I had to deal with. All that's in your rearview mirror now, and you're looking forward as you think about your legacy and as you think about all the people that you're going to impact. What would you say is, and this isn't an AmeriCorps or Senior Corps National Service, it's just a humanity thing. What is something would you say is like important and that you would feel good if you were remembered in a certain way, or you had left an impression, or not even left, we'll just say have given an impression to somebody that you have mentored or served a meal to, or what's the most important thing that we should take away from this life?
Yeah, I think I was on private jets flying around, and now I'm in a hairnet serving somebody food. So it takes you down to a level. Um, And you see it so up close that you really want to help, that you're fortunate that you can, that economically that I have the ability to retire. I mean, that's what we find is people are working longer based on need. And I would agree, if you're working full time, it's very hard to volunteer as well, especially if you're taking care of a household and family and whatever. What I would say is someday you're probably going to need some service too. So hopefully, I believe in karma that if you give, hopefully you'll receive when the time comes.
That's so beautiful. I love this perspective. I know that I'm going to love this series, and I know that people that are listening are going to think about, hey, like I have two parents that are retired, and I've been encouraging them. My father was a incredulous businessman on their
Where
wave.
where is
He
he
was
located?
Yeah, he's in California, and he was on the brink of technology, communications technology. So he worked for the Bell systems, and he was one of the last like dinosaurs that went from wire connectivity to wave Wi-Fi connectivity. And there's like folks, I didn't even know about this, but there's this whole thing that has to happen within a communication system within a company to ensure that after they lose their wire connection, they can go to this wave and Wi-Fi connection. And he was like the last dinosaur. He has arthritis in his fingers from putting together wires. And I'm like, and he built companies and
So he would be an excellent. I would tell him to check out SCORE in California. They definitely,
okay.
because, and there are other things if people want to use their business skills. What I would say to anybody that wants to volunteer, there's so many opportunities out there. Seek it and you shall find it. And today with the internet and now with AI, they can give you a list. You can put in your zip code. I will say that when you do skills volunteering,
Yeah, skills-based volunteer.
you can do it virtually. That sometimes frightens people away. They don't like it, or sometimes it will encourage people. So there's a lot of things to do in person, but there's also things to do virtually. So it depends on what you want.
I love that. And then my final question as we close out, AmeriCorps is the AmeriCorps agency national service is under a lot of pressure right now and might be written out of the federal budget. And right now, more than ever, we need connection. We need connection for all the reasons that you have said. From your perspective, what would you like to see or have folks do to try to keep these programs going? I
Well,
don't know. And maybe that's a loaded question. I don't know.
I it really starts with who your council members are. I try to counsel people. I told you when through Project Hospitality, they have a lot of young students that come through. It's a great opportunity to teach them about civics, right? Your local councilman matters more to your day to day than the president, probably. And they typically have money that they delegate out as listed as discretionary spend. So know your community, where grants and money is being spent, what's important to you, and participate in that. So understanding your community, what the needs are and where it's lacking. And again, your politician, what are they doing? Where are they taking their discretionary? What are they investing in? Does that match with what you want to do? There's a lot of opportunity. Just go out and look for it and stay local and you'll feel good because you know you're helping your neighbor. Helping your neighbor helps you.
That is so grounding, and I so appreciate that because the noise is so big from such a big perspective where it feels like it's out of our hands. So, thank you so much for your wise words.
And
Thank you so much for serving in AmeriCorps Seniors and doing all the work that you are doing through SCORE. And I definitely am going to pass the information along to my father,
good.
hoping that he will do that. And Gina, if there is anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share with our guests, I want to give you a moment to just kind of
No, I
Put
think
that out
this
there.
is great. And listen, if we get one or two volunteers out of this, then we did our job.
I love that. Thank you all for getting to the end of the podcast. And of course, if you got to the end, you might as well subscribe because this is a rad podcast. And if you liked it so much, you might want to, I don't know, share with your policy person and say, hey, there's this program that we should continue funding. So thank you so much. And we'll be back with either another AmeriCorps Seniors or AmeriCorps alum. We're all over the place at AmeriCorps Connections. So thank you so much. Thank you, Gina. And we'll be back with another AmeriCorps Connection.